back to the bench and the bleachers. Spring training is here. We got some stories from there. We got some cap issues to go over because we know what 2027 is going to look like already. Bit of World Baseball Classic news today. State of the Jays. That's about the show we got for you here. But we're going to start with this one first. Harper doubting that the 2027 season starts on time. Obviously, we've gone through the offseason about the new CBA that's going to come into place before the season, the cap issues, the floor issues, the Dodgers being the center of it. Harper's had his problems mid-season, telling Manfred to fuck off if he thinks you're ever going to put a salary cap in. And now he's over here doubting the 2027 season starts on time. I got to say, I'm on his side here.
You have to feel like like all we've been hearing for 2 or 3 years now is 2027 it's gonna come to a tipping point, right?
Yeah.
We're really gonna see if the owners have enough momentum within their group to implement a salary cap, which would also mean a salary floor. I don't see how you get one without the other with this group of owners. But I just don't understand from the from the small market owners' perspective, how they think this is really going to help them. It doesn't make them look better publicly. We can talk about John Heyman's cap estimate. We'll talk about that later. But it's hard to side against the players who are saying, we don't want any restrictions on our labor, which is, by the way, how almost every other industry across the world is organized when you look at workers. It just doesn't make sense. When you look at baseball's parity over the past 25 years or 26 years, let's say, like this century, it's up there with every other sport. Like if you look at sports where there's a tight cap, any other kind of cap, there's no parity. Like in the NFL, right? Like the NFL wants the same teams in it every year, right?
The NFL went from dynasty to dynasty.
Yeah, right? The NHL, look at the NHL. Like look at how many teams have won a Stanley Cup, right? Since like 2000. Okay, it's a lot of Detroit. There was LA's run, there was Chicago's run, Boston was in it. Like again, when you allow for parity and say, okay, every team can only do this and this, then the best organizations are still going to flourish and thrive, right? Like it's this. Look back even in the '90s, before the salary cap, there was no parity. Like it doesn't make any sense to me why, like in the NBA, it's super team to super team. Now the NBA cap is a lot better because the NBA league.
They got some
This is
parity
the
right
best
now.
league or the best
Yeah.
season the NBA has had in a long time, in my opinion, because they've instituted the apron system, which fans may not like, but if you want other teams to get good, the apron system's working in the NBA. But baseball, it's just a different beast because it's the least individual of other sports, maybe up there with hockey, but I think baseball is much more of a team sport. I don't think a cap fixes any parity issues, and I don't think baseball has any parity issues because you can't look at a non-competitive team, or sorry, a small market team and say that's the reason they aren't competitive. The reason these small market teams, or quote small market teams, are uncompetitive is because they make poor baseball decisions and then are unwilling to spend cash to bail themselves out of these decisions.
They've made themselves small market, essentially.
Yeah, 100%. Cleveland,
You can
like think about the '90s, how big Cleveland was. They had all these stars,
Yeah.
right? And then they completely mismanaged their team in the 2000s. And in the 2010s, they built it back up to get all these stars, and they let them all leave. So they're making poor decisions. They aren't locking down their players early enough into their tenure. Like if you're a Cleveland, right, and you let top players go into free agency, that's a mistake. You need to understand the role that you're in. The fact that these teams want to have the same amount of control and rights over their players as teams like the Dodgers and everything like that, where the Dodgers can let a guy go into UFA, test the waters, and they can probably match or beat any offer, right? If you're Cleveland, part of the great thing about sports is you aren't like that. You're not Los Angeles, right? You can lock down guys earlier because guess what? When you guys want to go to Los Angeles more than Cleveland, you're not going to generate the revenue that a team in California is. So how are you going to get around this? It's by making good decisions. And by the way,
Yeah.
if you had the ability to spend the same amount as the Dodgers, which you already do, you still wouldn't. So I don't understand what this cap system is going to solve, or cap system.
the problem
Makes no
the
sense.
problem is it's just the timing of when the CBA deal is coming to an end, right? Like if you like 94, obviously you had your Cleveland, Atlanta. The Yankee dynasty wasn't fully taken off yet. You just come off of the back-to-back Blue Jay World Series. If that meeting's in 2000, we might have a salary cap at this moment just because of what the Yankees did late 90s.
Yeah, but
I
nobody
think
had a
it's
problem
just
with the cap with no cap then. Everybody's like, this is great. Like,
I'm just saying it's just the timing of when it's happening right now.
Yeah, the
Like if
timing
you think
has.
about it, like we're in the midst of the Dodgers kind of dynasty, right? Built off of the money that they're pouring into free agents,
No,
right? I think
I
that's what
agree.
makes it look bad.
But the thing is, these players are hitting free agency, and the Dodgers are the only seem to be the only team that's willing to sign them. Like, look at the Mets. The Mets are spending a lot of money too. The
A
Mets
lot of
aren't
teams,
winning.
it's
No one has a
it
problem
is.
with the
I
Mets.
think it's just a weird timing because a lot of teams have spent a lot of money this offseason. It's just the buildup of the past few off seasons. Like, look at Baltimore spent a lot of money this offseason. Nobody's complaining, obviously, because it's Baltimore. It's just because it's every year from the Dodgers, and obviously, like you said, and I agree with you, a salary cap's not going to fix the whole problem, but I think it's just the timing of it. Like I think it was before the 2022 season when we missed like a week or two.
Yeah,
Like that was not a problem then. It's just because what the Dodgers have done
I
since then.
don't like the villainization of the Dodgers because the Mets. I remember when Cohen bought the Mets and was like, "It's over. I'm spending all this money." People were like, "Yeah, this is
Yeah,
awesome. Look at this guy, freewheeling, free spending. This is awesome." And everybody loves that until a team starts winning a bit too much, and you're like, "Well, what the hell, guys?" Like, I don't
this
understand.
is
I think
what you're
it's great.
supposed to
What I
do.
think the Dodgers. That's awesome. That's what every organization across every sports league should be. We want the best players to play for our team, and we're going to pay them
Yeah,
what we think they deserve and what they're worth. I don't understand why people don't want that. Like, do you want stars to be stuck in shitty Like, do you want stars to just stay in shitty situations because no other team can afford them? That's stupid.
no, it is just it's not good. Like, and the owners who can sit here and say we can't compete, then sell the team. Like,
Keenan, they can compete. They just aren't smart enough to compete. They
no,
just
no, and exactly that's why you sell the team. If you say you can't compete, then you shouldn't own a team because it's the owners who and Cleveland, their owner's worth $4.8 billion. He's out here saying we can't compete. We're a small market. You have less than $100 million on your payroll. The Baltimore Orioles, once again, they spent over $200 million this offseason.
yeah, and like I just don't understand that because you competed 10 years ago. You competed
Yeah.
30 years ago. The franchise did. It's not that different in the landscape. But you lied to Jose Ramirez, your franchise icon, and really made him upset. You let Lindor leave. You let a lot of that 2017 team leave. You let like Terry Francona, one of the best managers in the league, leave, and Stephen Vogt comes in and
Oh,
tells.
he retired though. Francona retired.
Yeah, do you think Francona would have retired if there was if the amount of money being spent was a bit higher, or do you think he would have stayed around?
Eh, Okay, that's a good little
Because he
argument
did
there.
unretire the next year. So
And choose to go to Cleveland, or
to
sorry,
Cincinnati.
Cincinnati,
So
of
it's
all
not like
teams.
Francona wanted anything differently.
Yeah.
I think the thing with Cleveland is like you could compete if you were smarter than other teams. The issue is you don't have a major revenue source and you're dumber than other teams. So when you're
Mhm.
stupid and don't have built-in advantages, you're obviously not going to be able to compete. So yeah, he's right. He can't compete, the owner, but it's not for the reasons he thinks. It's because he isn't as smart as he thinks he is, and he isn't hiring a good enough director of amateur scouting to be able to fill these holes. The Class A stuff was really unfortunate, right? That was
Yeah.
just unlucky. But I mean, look at how they've managed their major assets.
Yeah, and beyond that,
Remind me who
like
they
I
got
said,
back for
he's
Naylor.
sorry,
Remind me how who they got back for Naylor.
not anything important.
And look at how good he was in the playoffs for one of the five best teams across baseball, right?
Look at the
So,
contract
like,
he got himself too. Very manageable
competent
for every
baseball
team to
people
sign.
don't let Josh Naylor leave for nothing. You hired
They
incompetent
traded
baseball
him.
people.
They traded him as if he was getting the Vladdy contract.
Yeah, and yeah. So, yes, you cannot compete, Cleveland owner, but because you aren't as smart as Dodger owner, as Seattle owner, as other owners, you are not as smart as them. And guess what? You become a big market if you have a winning team.
You
That's
do.
kind of how things
Look,
work.
look what the Padres have done. They were
Oh,
small market for a long time.
they have big revenue stream now. They make I
Yeah,
think they're top five in revenue now. Now,
they
what helped the
marketed
Padres too
themselves.
was the Chargers leaving because they're the only game in town in
Yeah,
San Diego
that's
for pro
true.
sports, right? So that
That is
does
true.
help the Padres.
But they did also market themselves really well with all their stars, and
Yeah,
then
and like
the Dodger rivalry that kind of took off as
you
well.
you want to know what sells tickets and gets fans and sponsorships?
Stars.
Winning teams and star players. Like
Oh, I
if you're a winning team and you have star players, you're gonna make a lot of money. I don't know.
yeah.
Keenan, I do not know teams that are consistently winners who have big stars who aren't high up in revenue. I can't think of one.
We didn't put this one in the doc, but I'm sure I think I sent you this. Artie Moreno says
Oh God.
winning is not a
Don't
top
say don't
five.
say his name. Do not say that man's name on this
What do we
show.
call him? The Angel of Death?
The Angel of Death. And again, here's the thing though, with Artie Moreno, as flawed as Artie Moreno is, that man is willing to spend money. That
He
man.
spent a lot of money,
And
and it
do you
didn't
ever hear
work.
Artie Moreno complaining about the cap or spending?
No.
No, he doesn't, because he understands like that in order to win in any aspect of life, you got to spend a bit of money on it. Like that
Yeah, the
is what it,
problem is he's meddling in contracts.
yo, who cares about him meddling? The thing is, Moreno's just bad at his job. He's not
He
an asshole
is.
about it. He's just incompetent.
He is bad. This was his asshole comment though.
Uh,
This was his asshole comment. Like winning is not a top five priority.
yeah, and the thing is that I don't want to be
It
like
feels like a yearly thing. He just comes out of his cave and says something stupid at this
I
point.
don't want to be the
Like
guy that
I'm
fans
selling the
Artie
team.
Moreno,
I'm
but he
not
was like
selling the
referring to some
team.
stupid poll that he conducted. I think Artie Moreno truly does believe that winning matters to fans. I want to say,
It did. It mattered to him for a long time too. Look at all that money he tried to pour into this team.
yeah, try is the key word there. I guess try is the operative word. So I don't know. I don't want to say I feel bad for Artie Moreno, but like he represents the best part about baseball, and the kind of the best part about sports is a guy who keeps trying to win, who doesn't quite win, but is like totally willing to keep going on it. So salute to Artie Moreno,
Yeah,
right? Like
he
that's
tried.
if every owner across baseball had the attitude of Artie Moreno, baseball would be a better place. The issue is Artie
We'll hold
Moreno
this.
doesn't understand baseball. He's just stupid. But
He doesn't. He needs it. He needs someone like tight to him that actually understands baseball.
yes,
But he hires yes men.
he needs someone intelligent around him.
He does. We'll get to the salary cap stuff in a moment. We'll get through these shorter stories here. Giancarlo Stanton saying he has so much elbow pain he can't even open a bag of chips
That's
or
hard to hear.
unscrew
That's
a
hard to hear.
bottle. And he's refusing to get surgery because he wants to
He
play.
wants to, he takes a lot of shit from Yankee fans and national media because of the injuries, because of the strikeout numbers. But look, he's kind of I don't want to say he's become underrated, but he's still a really good player. And health wise, like I don't think the drop off in performance has been his talent's gone away. He's just been hurt a lot. He's a big
A
problem.
lot of injuries.
He's a
He missed half of last year and still put up better numbers than a lot of people.
yeah, like the Yankees wouldn't be nearly as good like 2 or 3 years ago in those dark years where it was kind of just him and Judge against the world. Like he deserves a lot of credit for how he performed there. And now, like I think at a certain point when you're that big, you have that much muscle mass, and you keep swinging, eventually it takes its toll on you, right? Physically, it
Mhm.
takes its toll. So it's a bit sad to hear kind of stuff like that for someone who's given so much and taken so much crap from his own fan base. Um,
Yeah.
Now, does this affect the Yankees this much? Not really, I don't think. I don't think it's going to be a major factor. I don't want to be a rude or anything, but I don't think it's a major factor in the how the Yankees are going to be approaching this season.
No, it just sucks because this is a guy who's like on the verge of being a Hall of Famer, and he's just trying to push through these last few years to get over that hump, and it's
It's hard to
tough.
see. It's hard to see.
It is. It's very hard to
I
see.
think he retires today. He's a Hall of Famer.
You don't think he needs the 500 home run mark?
I don't
Because
understand.
that argument circles around a lot.
Yeah, but I think people talk about how flawed that argument is.
True.
So I think hopefully, if he retired today in 5 years, I don't think we're talking about the 500 home run club the way that we would be like a year ago or something like that, right? So
Mhm.
I think like respect to him, but I don't think he needs to chase like don't. It's not worth destroying your body to try and get the 500 home runs, right? That's kind of how I feel about it.
It feels like what he's doing too, just
Yeah, it
destroying his body a bit to just keep hitting.
which
And
is
we've already seen what he's done to his legs. Like those are
oh
cooked.
my God,
He
yeah.
can run.
No, I mean watching him try and play in the outfield, even
All right. Minor technical difficulty, but we are back now. We're going to keep this show rolling. Sacramento Athletics have reportedly sent a long-term contract to Nick Kurtz. This would be huge for the team that has already locked up a couple of the young players: Soderstrom, Lawrence Butler, Zach. Or I almost said Zach Wilson, Jacob Wilson. You bring Kurtz into this, and this team is set for a while. Especially if you buy out all his, you're going to buy out his RBs and probably add a couple more, just to sweeten it up there too. And with the team friendly deals everyone else has taken, I don't think he goes above 200 million, to be honest.
No, and again, what did we just talk about for 10 minutes? About how
Pay
important,
your stars.
pay the stars and pay them early and often. So this is great savvy by the A's. Who would have thought I would have ever said that in my entire life? But this is exactly what you should be doing. You've seen that Nick Kurtz clearly can compete at the major league level. Clearly is a
Yeah,
stud at first base, can rip the hell out of the baseball. So why would you wait on signing him, right? Why would you wait on that? I don't, so it just makes sense to go after and sign a long-term deal with him. So I love this move. I love the move.
it's a great move. If they bring in
Great
a
move.
couple pitchers, they're going to go into Vegas and become one of the most marketable teams.
100%. 100% agree. Well, I
Yeah,
100% agree.
yeah,
Like it,
it's
sorry, go
just a
ahead.
smart move from an organization that hasn't been smart for a while.
Yeah, it's a bit freaky because when you hear news of the A's are looking to do X, Y, or Z, you start thinking, okay, why is this bad? Like what
You
dumb.
go, okay, who's getting traded?
Yeah, exactly. But you're like, no, this actually just makes a lot of sense. Like, good for them. Like, oh,
It
good
does,
idea,
yeah.
guys. Yeah. So, I I like the move. Sue me, I like
Yeah,
the move.
it is a good move. One little extension here before we get into well, the salary cap and then some World Baseball Classic news. The Braves have locked up Chris Sale for the 2027 season, assuming there is a 2027 season, with a club option for 2028. Sale's come out and said he won't challenge balls and strikes. He's an old school pitcher. This is kind of expected from someone who's been around for so long.
Yeah.
He's used to the way things are.
Savvy veteran. Savvy
Savvy
veteran.
veteran.
Savvy veteran. And still has that high ceiling of if he's fully healthy, he can still be a highly effective pitcher.
If
Highly
he's
effective.
not going 110% diving for a ground ball in a mid
Yeah.
nothing game in
Chill the
July,
fuck out,
breaking his
Chris.
rib again,
Yeah.
he was on pace for another Cy Young caliber year, too.
Yeah. No, that so that hasn't affected you though at all, has it, hey?
What do you mean?
Never mind. I'll move on. Uh,
Okay.
what did you make of Walker Bueller's comments on IBS saying that like veterans kind of deserve to have a bigger strike zone and things like that? I kind of agreed. I'm like, not with the sentiment of veterans just deserve a bigger zone, but that
Yeah.
we enjoy the human element of baseball. I enjoy the human element about baseball.
We got the human element of all other sports. There's judgment in every sport.
Yeah, like, and I think I see a lot of stuff too about ABS will save baseball. I don't see that happening really. I don't see baseball needing to be saved. Call me crazy. You can call me crazy, Keenan. I don't think baseball needs
Yeah.
to be saved. And like, do bad ball and strike calls happen all the time? Yeah. Do bad high sticking calls happen in the NHL? Are there stupid pass interference calls in football? Like, are the end of basketball games impossible to watch? Yeah. That's just the sports, though. That's just the way that it goes. Like, that's just the nature of having human elements in sports, and that's why we like it, because it is imperfect. We need to stop trying to make everything so beautiful and like just let it all happen, guys. Just let the boys play.
Baseball fans just love to complain.
This is very true.
It's a very, very.
I think it's just sports fans who like to complain.
It is sports.
I
I
think
think
it's
it's
sports.
baseball fans are at the top though.
The one thing, well, sports fans, they can complain. They can complain.
Forever.
So,
It doesn't stop.
no. So, aside from that, though, I do really enjoy getting to watch like a slider that's like just outside of that plate. And again, I'm going to go into that, my thing I talk about all the time. That box on TV is inaccurate. The box on TV, I'll tell you, everybody would enjoy baseball more if there wasn't that box on TV.
The box doesn't move, and half the time it's not centered too on the
No,
plate.
it's not centered. That's the whole point. Is it's not. It doesn't
Yeah.
make sense to me. And we've seen with data that umpires call like a very like rounded strike zone because it's very hard to kind of call a square zone because that implies that it's two dimensional when in fact the zone is three dimensional. So a box doesn't really make any sense to me. I don't. I don't like ABS. I think it's dumb.
Yeah, I mean, it's good for those super obvious ones, but it's so stupid on the close ones that miss by like a centimeter.
Yeah, that's not
Like that,
baseball. That's not
it's
baseball.
like, you have to be a perfect umpire to catch half of those.
No, and
It is dumb.
we're asking inhuman things from human people,
Yeah,
which is
and realistically, isn't 90% accuracy bad?
no.
Every
I
time
would
you go to school,
yeah.
90% is amazing. Everywhere else, like,
Yeah, I don't get. Keenan, the past 10 years, have there been really any major umpire decisions through balls and strikes that have impacted games? Not really.
Other than Angel Hernandez?
Yeah, but his biggest fuck up was calling the first base of that Yankees Red Sox game.
True.
So the
That's
biggest
true.
the big umpire mistakes and controversies, those happen in the field because stuff isn't reviewable enough, right? A la the infield fly rule game, right? There's so many.
Yeah. It's especially those calls which it's judgment, which
Yeah,
is so
like that
stupid.
is where it is good to have review and say, okay, we made our decision in the heat of the moment. Now let's take a look back. That is the whole
Yeah.
point to me of what computer enhancement is for officiating, not a centimeter off a ball or like that. Like what the hell are we doing here, guys? I don't like that at all. It slows the game down. Now, can they do the challenges relatively fast? Yes. It still slows the game down. I thought we were trying to speed the game up with the pitch clock and everything, right? So why are we now slowing it down so we can try and be perfect? That doesn't. I, I just don't like that.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's get on to the story that I know you want to talk about. This
Yes.
will take up probably the most of the show here.
No.
Salary cap. Cap and floor. John Heyman's initial proposal slash estimate suggests something between a 260 to 280 million dollar ceiling with a 140 to 160 million dollar floor.
This
Assuming 140 million dollar floor, I think it's 11 teams are currently under that, and the A's is by a couple million. They'd obviously easily get there. It'd be a lot of teams having to spend a lot of money.
Keenan, this proposal makes zero sense. Like, I don't know if this is what John Heyman thinks it should be, has heard it will be, or what he kind of wants it to be. This proposal makes no sense for anybody involved,
Mhm.
right? Because the top teams can still spend, like, let's say it's to the nth or the extreme of both, right? 140 million floor and a 280 million dollar ceiling. There's no cap in professional sports like that. Most caps are the floor is about 80% of the actual cap. 80, I
Yeah,
think in the NBA or the NFL it's like 90% or around there. A 50% floor makes almost zero sense. If the ceiling's 280, I would say the floor should be 240 or 250. Because again,
yeah,
if you want parity, then don't back out on actually wanting financial parity, right? It's these small market owners who say we can't compete. Really, they just want a cap, but then that floor better be over $200 million because that proposed cap and floor of 280 and 140 does nothing for competitive balance. Does absolutely
no,
nothing.
it doesn't do that much. My one of my thoughts here is it might be like a working floor that you're going to rise over some years, just instead of forcing like the Marlins who like let's say it is a $200 million floor.
Yeah.
Are we going to force the Miami Marlins to spend $120 million in one off season?
No, no. So what I would say is you would probably set this date for, let's say they lock out in 2027, right? We lose the season.
Okay.
2029 implementation. You would need to give teams two off seasons to get compliant with cap and floor.
Yeah.
That is to me the reasonable thing to do.
Give them a yeah, you got to give them a couple years.
Two
I
off
think what
seasons is enough time. Two
I
off seasons is enough time in my opinion.
what you could do as well, the NHL gave 5 years to get within their first floor and cap, which is a lot, but
That's NHL. The
your
NHL is
frame of
clearly,
it's your frame of reference though, because that's the most recent salary cap implementation.
and how has that worked out for owners, Keenan? How has that worked out for parity across
It
the
hasn't.
so it was implemented in 2004, correct? But you said it took 5 years.
That they had a five they gave them 5 years to get
Okay,
to the cap.
so let's look at the NHL from 2010 to now. The Chicago
Dynasty.
Blackhawks have won 3 Stanley Cups. The Kings won two. Those were the first 5 years after the grace period. Two teams won championships, right?
Yeah.
Then the Penguins won two in a row. Then you had a team like the Blues. Now you had Tampa win two, and then Florida win two. Colorado got one. I'm sorry, Washington won a cup. I'm not seeing a lot of parity there. Do you know what I'm
You had
seeing?
3 years of parity. That was it.
Do you know what I'm seeing in there? I'm seeing teams who locked in star players to good contracts, good affordable contracts, getting rewarded, which is what happens now in baseball. I'm not seeing this magical parity. Whereas if you look at baseball, it's a lot better than that.
Mhm.
I whatever, don't even care. But
And beyond that, you've had the two Florida teams go to three straight Stanley Cups.
yeah, this
There
this
isn't
idea of
parity.
a cap on a floor suddenly helping competitive balance has never been proven right. Because you look at the teams, look at the leagues that have a cap on a floor, it's not helping them at all with competitive balance at all.
There's no there is no way to have competitive balance.
No, you're
You're
trying
gonna
to
have
regulate competency, or sorry, trying to force competency through regulation. That doesn't happen.
yeah,
You can't do that.
you're
It doesn't
gonna
make
have
sense. Like, this idea that team owners think, okay, the Dodgers can only spend 280 mil, and I have to spend 140 mil. Is that going to help you? Is that going to help you win games, win pennants and World Series? No, I don't get it. I don't understand this at all.
baseball's had good parity. You've also had your teams that stay at the top for a little while. You got the Dodgers now, you had the Astros before that, the Giants before that. It doesn't matter if there's a salary cap and floor. It doesn't matter if there isn't. There's always going to be if you get a good core of players together that stay healthy for a couple of years, you're going to have a couple of deep playoff runs, no
Yeah,
matter a floor, a ceiling, any kind, whatever the CBA dictates. It doesn't matter.
competent
Because,
teams will always be competent. Good
yeah,
ownership will always be good. Like guys,
you
what are we
still
talking
have
about here? The
in the
principle
other
of the
leagues, you
game.
still have the same couple of teams at the floor until the owner sells the team, right?
Yeah, I don't, Keenan. I don't. All this would do is teams would spend to the minimum floor with stupid overpriced contracts, and then the teams at the top would stay spending at the top of the cap. Also, this doesn't mean teams couldn't spend more than the cap because nobody else has a hard cap system, right?
Yeah.
Like there would be a luxury tax, which the Dodgers and the Mets are happy to pay. The Blue Jays are happy to pay, unless they want to go to an apron system, which I don't think would be beneficial for baseball. I don't understand this. I don't understand anything about how any one of these small market owners think that's good. The big market owners aren't going to want to cap. I don't think there's a large enough contingent of small owners who can force through a cap. Now, can they really fuck up everybody else's baseball season? Absolutely. But I've become stronger and stronger of the opinion that I don't think a cap is imminent.
It isn't, but we'll see what
Alas,
happens.
yeah, we'll see.
See what
We'll see.
happens.
I don't know. It's interesting times.
It is interesting
It's
times.
very interesting times.
Let's talk about something a little more positive here, though. We got the World Baseball Classic. Couple days away until we got group stage games going on. I think the first ones are starting in
Later this week.
Tokyo on the 4th.
Yes, I've heard. I think
Wednesday, I
first
believe
week
that's
of
when the first
March.
game is. Well, it's a fun few weeks we got coming up here. Tarek Skubal coming out saying he's only going to pitch one game, and it's against Great Britain in the round robin. Look, he's got Scott Boras as his agent. He's in a contract year. We know his priority is going to be the Detroit Tigers and focusing on himself. Beyond that, if he didn't go away, you'd only get one more game out of him anyways, and it would probably line up as the quarterfinals. Like, it's not that big of a loss.
No, I agree. I 100% like. But what I don't want to hear, I do not want to hear from Americans being like, "Well, if we had Tariq Skubal for the big game, ooh," like when America inevitably collapses and loses in this World Baseball Classic to Japan or the DR or whoever else they're playing against, I don't want to hear, "Well, if we had our best players playing," don't want to hear it. Don't care. I don't care that Tariq Skubal wasn't available for you. Paul Skeens said he's going to pitch multiple games. That's good for the game. Grow
Yeah.
the sport, right?
And I think he said two. And I think that's the max you're going to get out of a starting pitcher
Yeah.
in this
Anyways,
tournament, anyways.
I've heard Lance Lynn is on the team for the U.S. Can you confirm that? That makes no sense.
No, he's just, I think Lance Lynn just keeps talking.
Okay.
Unless he's a coach or something. I
Can we
think he's
tell
just been
Lance Lynn to
talking
stop
about,
talking? No
yeah,
one. I raise your hand if you want to hear Lance Lynn's opinion. My hand just went down.
no,
No
no
one
one
wants to
does.
hear what that fat boy has to say.
He's just yapping about wanting to be, like, he's like, if I'm wearing that jersey, I'm wearing it until the tournament's done.
Good for
It's
you,
like, okay,
buddy. Go
sure,
ahead.
but you're not on the verge of a $500 million contract.
Yeah, Tariq Skubal's about to attain generational wealth.
Yeah, and good for him. We know where his priority is. He'll go play his game. Like I said, if he's coming back for a second game, it's the quarterfinals. You're not getting him for the tournament
Yeah.
match.
No, and I had a question for you, Keenan.
Yeah.
Aaron Judge said it's our turn after the U.S. won a hockey gold medal. Do you think that the American baseball team hates the Americans' softball team as much as the U.S. hockey team hates the U.S. women's hockey team?
No.
Any comment on that?
On the softball team?
Yeah, well, because you remember, like the American hockey team laughed at like hearing the women's team might be invited. Do you think the
Yeah.
American men's team, after Judge said it's our turn to do that same thing, do you think they're also going to laugh and bully the softball team?
Here's the thing. Do they have anything equivalent of the Kachucks? No.
Not really. No, I actually really like a lot of the characters on the U.S. baseball team. I think they're actually
There's a little more class.
they
There's a
are,
little
and
more there is
I
more
will say,
class in the baseball sport though in general.
100% agree. 100% agree.
Like
Yeah,
they're also playing against Japan in the finals, who beat them and then bowed.
yeah.
Like
It's not a guarantee that Japan's going to make it in the finals,
I
though. We
know,
don't
I'm just
know.
saying off of 2023. That's
Oh,
what happened.
yes. Yes.
They beat them and bowed and showed respect.
I think
You
it's
don't
very
you can't
respectful
come
sport.
back and then be a dickhead right after.
No.
If the if that's the
Although that
final,
is the American way. That
it
is the
is the
American.
American way. That is true.
Yeah.
But I think there is more class. They're not led by some buffoons.
Yeah, well, I
Like
mean, I
Judge
don't
is a
think Chucks share
classy
about.
guy.
I mean,
Like
I
what
don't
has
think the
Judge
Chucks
said
share
that
about
makes you
10
go fuck
chromosomes
that
with
guy?
each other. So, yeah, no, fair enough. I mean, at least Aaron Judge can read.
He
That's
can.
a good thing.
He can count to 10 too. I think.
Yeah, oof, huge developments coming out of American team sports here. State of the Blue Jays.
State of the Jays. It's been a while since we've done one of these.
Yes, can David Popkins revive Eloy Jimenez's career? Answer: no, he cannot. He can revive Jesus Sanchez. He's not going to resuscitate a dead body. Let's not buy into any of this until Eloy. No, it's not going to happen, guys. Good story.
Yeah.
Good story. Not going to happen.
Good story for now, but it is still spring.
Yeah. Again, now
Positive signs.
Max
But
Scherzer is
pump the
back.
brakes.
This is
Max
good.
Scherzer is back.
The Jays now have, I would say, the deepest rotation in baseball. Keenan, I'm not sure if you're there.
I think you could argue that even before the Scherzer signing too.
Yeah, because now you have probably what, 8 guys? Like, okay, we can run through the list of major league quality starting pitchers they have. Right? Shane Bieber will start the year on the IL. Let's just preface
Yeah.
that. Max Scherzer, I believe, is banged up right now too. Or it's
At
not-
his age,
At his
he's gonna
age,
take
you're
full
getting
time.
50 to 75 innings out of him, right? Probably. Right?
Yeah,
So
Savage is starting the season slow as well.
I'm not as bullish on you, Savage, this season as other people are too.
I know. I'm just saying he's starting. They said he's going to start him slow, which is why you need this depth.
Yeah. So you have Dylan Cease, you have Kevin Gossman, Trey Savage, Cody Ponce, Bieber, Barrios. I don't know what you want to do with him. Scherzer, Eric Lauer. That's 8. Ricky Tiedemann could be 9, right? So that's a Tiedemann. I don't know. I think he's more.
I'd move him to the pen. You're not.
He'll
bringing him up
start
to
1 or 2 games in a pinch if you need him to.
if needed.
But
Yeah.
that is 8 proven major league quality starting pitchers. That is a deep rotation. Well, Ponce deep. I mean, proven. I don't know, but I think you
Velo's
can
up.
rely on him.
Velo's up for Ponce, which is a good sign.
Yeah, no, the velo is up, which always a concern. Getting guys back from Asia is the velo going to play?
Well, I
Right?
think he was touching mid 90s, like 94, 95 regularly in Japan.
Yeah, which
It was just
to Japanese hitters is like 100 miles an hour. But
yeah, yeah. Unless it's the elite Japanese pitchers.
yeah,
But yeah, and then you mentioned it there. What do you do with Jose Barrios? Assuming May comes around and your guys are healthy and on track, your Savage is pitching regular innings, Scherzer's back, Bieber, it doesn't have to any kind of delay. What do you do with Barrios? Because he doesn't seem like the first guy to go to the pen. That's Lauer, maybe Scherzer.
Barrios, you
'Cause he's-
trade. You trade Barrios.
Yeah, and I agree. That's your trade bait right there. Maybe you can get another Jesus Sanchez-esque platoon hitter, a good depth piece. Because the injuries last year kind of tanked his value a bit.
Yeah, I would like to trade him for like a lefty reliever.
Okay,
That's kind of what I think you need. But other than that, like you just trade him and you just cut bait and move on.
that's fair. Yeah, and I think if everything goes perfectly, you still got a couple guys who need to come back and look good once they're back.
One
before
hundred
you can
percent
just
agree,
cut
and
Barrios.
you can never have too many good major league starting pitchers. But if you feel comfortable with Lowry, if you feel comfortable with Scherzer, there's no reason to keep Jose Barrios.
Also, if you do see a weakness, like you said, the bullpen, you can always any team can always add another bullpen arm. If you need another bullpen arm, Barrios is your guy. He's the proven MLB guy who seems to be the odd man out. I think he'd be easy trade bait. A team could use a veteran guy like him.
I would just trade him now.
That's your okay.
I don't.
I would.
I would have traded him 2 months ago. I would have traded him 3 months ago. I
I
don't.
think that was. I think it was a little tough because they was rehabbing a little bit through the
He's
offseason.
surplus to requirements for this team. Maybe give him a couple starts, then move him. But he will not be on this team past the trade deadline.
No, and I agree. I agree completely. I think he's the guy who goes.
Yeah.
I think it's that straightforward. We got anything else to go over here? I don't think
Not
so.
particularly on my end. I'm just looking forward to WBC Best on Best International Baseball.
It's fun. We'll give our prediction episode
Yeah.
at some point, but you got
Sometime
any little
next week or
teaser?
so.
Any little teaser who you got winning?
Japan,
Japan, I
the
like
most,
that
you
call.
know,
I think I'm riding
the
with the
most well-rounded
Dominican this
team.
year.
Who'd you say?
The Dominican.
Okay, yeah, those are what two of the top three teams. So we clearly,
Those are the two teams that they back their stripes.
yeah, I think I can see the DR rising. I just like Japan with the fact they won in 23. They still have
They're also a
Otani.
complete unit. Like they ride or die as a team.
Like, I'm sorry, you're gonna give me Otani, Murakami together offensively. That's so exciting. And you throw in Okamoto. Then on top of that, you give me Yamamoto starting. Oh my goodness, this team can't lose. How can they lose? And the other thing is their best players. Some of them, their hitters, don't play in Major League Baseball. Not going to be as scouted as much. Not going to have as much data on them.
Yeah. But they're still very good hitters.
100%.
It'll be a fun tournament. And we will see you guys again once the tournament starts.